Welcome back, everyone. So I'm just finishing up this beautiful MPSS stereo. This is the Mazda premium sound system that is used in the 96 Miatas, I believe. And this particular unit had a few problems. The cassette deck had a bad motor. It had blown lamps in the faceplate. The CD player didn't work. The volume switch didn't work. And it's been fun. So I replaced the cassette deck motor, replaced all the lamps, rebuilt the cassette deck with new belts, lubrication, etc. I adjusted the CD player so that we've kind of given the laser a little bit of a power boost, and it now finally works again. And we've installed Bluetooth, and we installed a brand new rotary encoder, so the volume switch now works as it's supposed to. That's what I do here. And anyways, so this particular customer opted for my optional Bluetooth mod. With this model radio, and with others, certain Panasonic radios, for example, there is not an adequate switched power source for the Bluetooth module. Ideally, we want that Bluetooth module to turn on and off either with the radio or with the AM/FM tuner. On some radios, there is enough power, enough amperage coming out of the antenna lead, the power antenna lead, to basically turn that module on and off with the tuner. So when you turn the tuner on certain radios, it'll automatically send a power output to the antenna motor to raise the antenna, and it'll lower it when you switch over to, say, cassette or CD. The reason we want to do that is because in order for this module to send audio into the preamp, we always use the AM/FM tuner as the audio source. So to listen to your Bluetooth module, you're just going to switch it to FM or AM. I don't judge. And of course, assuming your phone or device is already paired to the module, you'll be able to hear Bluetooth audio. There's a few notes I want to kind of touch on when it comes to using the module in a stereo like this one. We'll get to that in a second. So because I'm using on this particular radio, we're going to be using the vehicle's accessory line, or the switched accessory line. So whenever your ignition switch is switched on or to accessory mode, it provides 12 volts to the car stereo, other accessories within the vehicle, like, for example, the HVAC motor. But it also provides power to our Bluetooth module, because the Bluetooth module is literally connected directly to the pin on the other side of this red wire. For reference, the yellow wire is your battery wire. The battery wire is always powered when there is a battery connected to the vehicle, whether the engine is on or off, whether the ignition is on or off, always powered. We don't want to use that, but we do want to use this red one. So inside the radio, I have done the necessary steps to route a wire from here all the way up to here, where our Bluetooth module is currently resting. But that's not good enough. We can't just have it so that when the ignition is on, the Bluetooth is on. We want to be able to turn it off while we're cruising down the road. Ideally, a passenger would be doing this, not the driver. Let's say the driver's phone is paired to the Bluetooth module, listening to whatever tunes you decide to listen to, and a phone call comes in, and you want to get that call, or the passenger wants to get that call. If you answer the phone, you can hear them, but they cannot hear you. It's a frustrating situation. And in a quick panic moment, you might want to realize, oh my God, I need to turn Bluetooth off on my phone or shut the radio off. Well, you shut the radio off, the Bluetooth is still on. So what do? That's where this comes in. Simply switch it off. It will immediately disconnect the Bluetooth from your phone and depower the module entirely. The radio will stay on. All's well that ends well. Another thing you might want to consider is, in some cases, you're listening to your Bluetooth mod. You're listening to your phone as an audio source, but you're like, you know what? I want to tune in to my favorite radio station. but you don't want to reach over to grab your phone to shut it off. You want to just be able to quickly make that change. Well, again, turn your Bluetooth module off, and that will immediately return the stereo back to a normal AM, FM, cassette, CD stereo as it came from the factory, as if the Bluetooth module never existed. Another scenario to consider: you're pairing your phone. The car's running, you're pairing your phone, and for whatever reason it fails to pair. It happens. Very rarely, but it can happen. Well, now you've got to shut the ignition switch off in the car, wait a second, turn it back on again, or you can just flip a switch, leave the car running. So ideally, this is an option that you can place anywhere in your car within 4 feet of the radio. I'm giving you guys 4 feet of cable at least. Well, at least my arm length, which is approximately 4 feet. And that should be enough cable to get you to put the switch really anywhere in the interior, in the center of the interior. You can put it in your console. You can put it in the anywhere in the center console, but wherever you place it, or in the dash. You can put it in the under dash. You can put it, I mean, anywhere you want to, any panel that you're willing to drill a hole in and place a switch into, basically. You have other options too. You could actually take off this switch that I gave you, and you can actually use a defroster switch. This was an option that you do have if you can change out these spade connectors. These are small spade connectors that I have to use. Where's my switches? Here it is. The spade connectors that I'm using on these are 3/16 inch. So what you could do alternatively is you could put a full width spade connector on there, and you can connect it to a factory defrost switch, which would be ideal on an NA or maybe even an NB. Because on those cars, unless you've got a hardtop, you're not using your defroster, and there's no defrost switch to be found. You'll have to buy one. But that is an option that you have if you really want a nice, clean install. So once again, the build quality of my cables is as good as I can get it within reason. All connectors that I use are shrink tubed and soldered. They're crimped, yes, but they're also soldered. And that is very important for longevity and to reduce the risk of fire in the case of a loose connection. You'll never get a loose connection from one of these cables. So if you do swap out your spade connectors for something else, I highly suggest you solder the damn things on. Okay. So that's why we use this cable. That's what it's for. If you're not worried about any of that, and you want to just leave well enough alone, you don't want to drill holes in your dash, you have two options. You can run this cable and zip tie it somewhere under the dash so that you can just kind of reach up and grab it if you wish, or you can just throw it in the back of the stereo and leave it there. Just make sure that before you put the car all back together, the switch is in the on position. So that's probably more important than anything. Make sure the switch is on before you start buttoning everything up. I've had a lot of questions about this. People wanted to, I had to explain in a lengthy email what it's for, and they still didn't get it. So I just built the radio without any of that. Okay, you want it hardwired? You got it hardwired. It's your radio. But that's why this video was made. And again, so we have the models that I service are pretty much all of them. I've worked on every single one except for one, and I don't know the model number of it, but I've done all the variations of the Panasonic radios. I've done the Mazda Sensory Sound System 1. That's what I started on. I've done Bluetooth mods. I've done all the basic repairs, capacitor replacement, CD player repairs on the Pioneers. Panasonics, I have had no luck with those. I will not work on a Panasonic CD player. Won't do it. Not worth it. Unless you want to pay me all the money up front to replace every capacitor on that unit without any guarantees that it'll work. Even the late, great Jeff Anderson decided against servicing them. And if he didn't want to work on them, neither do I. So I've done the Bose radios. I've done the, they're Panasonic built, but they're a newer generation product. Those were used in the NBs. I've done one of those. And I've done the non-Bose version of that radio. And that's basically just lamps and everything else. Bluetooth. Cassette deck repairs, Bluetooth, lamps. The greatest hits. So if you've got a Miata with a dead radio and you want to keep that factory look on the dashboard, I'm right with you and I will help you every step of the way. I have a website. It's savemyradio.com. I'll put it in the description as well. Savemyradio.com is my web address. And some of you guys don't need this. Some of you do, and this is why. Again, the MSSS1 Pioneers do not get this switch because they are powered from an amplifier remote turn-on circuit. Those actually have, believe it or not, they have an amplifier power circuit, and it provides just enough amperage to power the Bluetooth modules. The Panasonics, most of the Panasonics, I can power it from the power antenna circuit. There's enough energy, enough power there. But what I found is as soon as I put a load across this, the voltage drops to 5 volts. So it's pulling too much off of that circuit. So I don't know what it's good for. Absolutely nothing. So that's how we roll. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email. My email address is stereorepairs@gmail.com. Website is savemyradio.com. Have a great day, and top down. That's it.